Ever tried to concentrate on a task, only to find yourself scrolling through cat memes 5 minutes later? Yeah, we've all been there. Welcome to the digital age where our devices buzz, beep and blink, constantly vying for our attention. It's like we're in a never-ending game of whack-a-mole, trying to squash one distraction after another. In this whirlwind of notifications and updates, we're going to explore the book Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey. Bailey presents a compelling argument about how our attention spans have taken a hit due to the constant barrage of digital distractions. It's a serious matter, but hey, here's a fun fact for you. Research suggests that the average human's attention span is now less than that of a goldfish. Yes, you heard it right, folks. We're losing to creatures who can't even remember what they had for breakfast. So, do we have a shorter attention span than a goldfish? Well, let's dive into the book to find out. Attention, not the military kind, but the brain kind. Let's dive into the science of focus, more thrilling than a season finale of your favorite show. Picture this, your brain is a bustling office and the prefrontal cortex is the boss. But not just any boss, the kind who can't stand multitasking. Yes, that's right. Despite all the tech wizardry of the 21st century, our brains are still quite old school when it comes to focusing. You see, our prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for attention, prefers to deal with one task at a time. It's like a stubborn boss who refuses to juggle multiple projects at once. It's not being lazy, it's just being efficient. So, what happens when we try to multitask? Well, the boss gets overwhelmed, productivity drops, and the quality of work suffers. It's like trying to juggle flaming torches while riding a unicycle. It's not going to end well. So, the next time your boss asks you to multitask, just tell them your prefrontal cortex isn't up for it. Ever heard of Hyperfocus? No, it's not a new superhero movie, but it does give us some super abilities. Let's dive into the world of Chris Bailey's book, Hyperfocus, and discover how this concept can be our superpower. Hyperfocus is like a high-speed train of thought, zooming past all the distractions and making a beeline for the destination, the task at hand. Much like when you find yourself lost in the black hole of a Netflix series. One episode turns into 2, then 3, and before you know it, the rooster's crowing and it's 3 a.m. But hey, it's not all about late-night TV marathons. This is about harnessing that intense concentration and directing it towards our goals. Imagine turning that Netflix binge focus onto your studies or your work. You'd be unstoppable. So if you ever find yourself on a Netflix binge, just remember, you're not procrastinating, you're hyper-focusing. Now, how do we tame this wild beast we call distraction? Strap in, folks, because we're about to dive into the strategies outlined in Chris Bailey's Hyperfocus. Firstly, consider the idea of a digital detox. Yes, that's right, a detox from your precious devices. It's like going on a juice cleanse, but instead of green smoothies, you're sipping on the refreshing beverage of focus. Picture turning off your phone notifications as the equivalent of giving your brain a spa day. Doesn't that sound relaxing? Next, practice saying no to distractions. Imagine distractions as pesky salesmen knocking at your door. You wouldn't let them in, would you? No, you'd politely tell them to take a hike. Lastly, create an environment conducive to focus. Think of it as designing a Zen garden for your mind. So remember, taming distractions doesn't mean you have to go live in a cave. Just turn off those pesky phone notifications. So, what have we learned today, apart from the fact that our attention span might be shorter than a goldfish's? Well, for starters, we've delved into the art of distraction, where we discovered that our brains are like a wild party, with thoughts popping up uninvited all the time. Next, we ventured into the fascinating science of focus. Remember, you can't juggle a dozen tasks at once. Your prefrontal cortex just isn't cut out for it. So the next time you mess up multitasking, you know who to blame. Then we powered up with Hyperfocus, the superhero of productivity. It's like having a laser beam in your brain, cutting through distractions and getting the job done. Lastly, we became masters of taming distractions. Yes, that includes resisting the allure of shiny cat videos. At least until you're done with your tasks. And there you have it, folks. The secret to taming distractions and achieving hyperfocus. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some cat memes to catch up on.